Hi, I'm Tanya, and in this video you will learn how to create a beautiful paper cutout landscape from Japan using only Procreate. We will start with drawing basic shapes, add more and more elements as we advance, and by the end of this tutorial we will create this dreamy landscape. Now before we begin, you can download the custom brushes and color palette we will use free of charge via the download link in the video description below. If you are ready, let's grab our pencils and get started. For this design, I've created a vertical canvas that has the dimensions of 2000 by 2500 pixels. In the color palette, there are the soft pastel colors. I think they look very nice. For drawing, we are gonna use standard Procreate brushes from inking and calligraphy sections. And to add this realistic paper look, I've put a couple of paper textures in the tutorial set. We will apply them in the end. One texture brush is from the free brush pack with markers. If you don't have it, you can get it on my Gumroad. And the other one is from the premium paper pack that's available on my Patreon account. Patreon is a subscription-based platform where I've shared hundreds of brushes and advanced Procreate drawing tutorials in many different styles. If you'd like to take your drawing skills to a whole new level and support me at the same time, you can check it out and join my Patreon community via the link below this video. Now let's get straight to the point. The design will have a few dimensions, so the paper elements will go both deep inside the canvas and outside. We already made a few designs for paper cut and light boxes, but this time it will be more advanced and look even more like 3D. To start creating the design, we can first add the background paper. That will be the lowest paper layer. Actually, we just need to change the background color for that. Let's go to the background color. And now we need to select a color for it. But we need to consider one thing. The shape that we will draw later will have color number 2. So to make it visible in the video, I will first select color number 6 for the background. Yet it can be changed later. You can actually use any color that you like. So let's select it. And now it looks like this. There is this empty layer number 1, where we will start drawing. So let's grab color number 2 from the palette now. And to make the shape symmetrical, let's activate Symmetry tool of Procreate. For that we need to go to Actions, then switch to Canvas tab, and activate Drawing Guide. Then go to Edit Drawing Guide, and in this menu, switch to Symmetry, which is already set to vertical. Let's make sure that Assisted Drawing is turned on in Options. And now we are all set up. Let's click Done. To draw the shape, let's go to pick a brush. It will be Monoline from Calligraphy. In Stabilization settings, I increase the amount of streamline to maximum, also added pressure at 33%, and some amount in stabilization and motion filtering. This way we will get smooth lines, and it will be easy to draw. You can do the same if you like. Let's now set the brush size to 1% to get thin lines, like this. And we can draw a shape resembling an egg. I will start drawing from the upper side and make an arc that will go down. Like this. Let me fix it on top. I will just match the lines and make it more rounded. This way. I will erase the tip and continue the line. Just make it vertical. And go down parallel to the side of the canvas, until here. Now we need to draw another arc that will go towards the axis, but we need to stop here. I will also remove all imperfections, so the lines are matching. And at the bottom we can draw sort of a stand, like it is a Fabergé egg, standing on a stand. So let me switch back to brush, and first make a short vertical line, and if you tap on the canvas, it will go straight vertically, like this. In the end we just need to connect these two lines with the horizontal one. Also tap on the canvas. Let me edit it, just match it in the corners. And we got the first shape. Now we need to draw a similar one inside. So let's also start with an arc. It can go parallel, like this. I will also make it rounded and matching. Now we can draw a vertical line, also make it parallel, and then an arc. All what we are drawing is reflected to the opposite side, so it is very easy. Now it needs to go down, but we need to make it shorter. I will also tap and then connect them, just like this. Once the shape is ready, we need to fill it by dragging the color inside. We will get this. Let's try to make it at the bottom the same thickness as on the side. I will just go for rectangular selection, outline it and cut. If you also would like to adjust the shape, you can use push, and if you push on one side, it will be also applied on the opposite side. Now that we have this shape, we can add another layer of paper that will be located underneath. Let's click on the plus button here, and after that drag this layer underneath. Now let's go back to layer number 1 and activate selection. We need to use it in automatic mode and just tap inside the shape to get it selected. And now to fill the outer area, let's invert it. By the way, if the selection didn't work properly at your end, you may need to slide your pencil to the sides to adjust selection threshold. To me it worked fine, so I will continue. We need to go back to layer number 2, it's our blank layer. Then select color number 3 from the palette, tap on the layer, and from this menu on the left, select Fill Layer. This area will be filled, but inside it will stay empty. That's what we wanted to achieve. After this step, we can finally recolor the background. Let's go to it and select color number 1. Now we have 3 layers like this. We will add shadows to them later. Right now, I want to add another layer inside. For that we need to create a layer first and also drag it down. Let's activate Drawing Assist so we can draw another symmetrical shape. It will have color number 4. This time we can start drawing from the bottom and first make a straight line on one side. It can go this way, and if you tap on the canvas, it will go perfectly straight. Now we just need to connect these two lines with an arc. Let's keep the distance that is equal to the thickness of this part. So I'll start from here and try to match it with a line. If you wait a second, we will activate Quick Shape tool, so we can now edit this arc. We just need to tap here. Then I will push it a little bit inside, but we need to keep it matching. So I will just move it. Now I think it looks fine. To be able to fill the shape, we also need to connect it at the bottom, unless the line go all the way to the side of the canvas. So let's make a horizontal line. We can also tap on it. I will check if it is connected. It is alright. So now instead filling the inner part, we need to drag the color outside. And we will get this. To create the paper cut effect, we need to add the shadows. So let's do it right away, to be able to see the result. And we can start with this green part. First we need to duplicate the layer. Let's also remove Drawing Assist to remove symmetry, and after that we need to recolor it. Let's use color 25. Since we have green color here, the shadow can be also a little bit greenish and also work as a reflection. We can just drag it on the shape Also adjust color drop threshold. And after that, we need to apply Gaussian blur to make it blurry. It is here in adjustments. Let's select it and start sliding to the right, just like this. We can stop it around 21%. And now instead of moving the shadow, we can use some other transformation. Let's tap on the arrow and switch to warp. We can make it wider on the left. So I will just push it to the right like this. And on the right side and at the bottom, let's keep it like this. And we can also set the slaze mode to multiply, because we will place more elements here, and this way the shadow will get darker. Alright, let's also add the shadow under the shape. We have layer number 2 for that we can also duplicate. Let's now go to this one, underneath. Select color 26. It looks black, but actually it is very dark green. And now we can also drag it. We got this. Let's also set it to multiply mode. And blur. We need to select Gaussian blur from adjustments again. And start sliding to the right. Same as we did with the previous shape. As you see, it is getting green. And also very dark at the same time. Let's continue sliding. And actually we can also keep it at 22%. This amount works fine. We don't have drawing assist here, so we can apply transformation. Also using it in warp mode. Let's drag it a little bit down here and to the right. Just like this. Let's push it a bit more. Maybe we can also move it to the right on this side to keep a subtle texture. Here I will drag it more down, because we already have dark color here, so I don't want to make it too dark. Let's keep it like this for now. And later, after we add some elements that will go outside, we can fix the shadow more. For now I like the result. Let's do this. To add some thickness to the papers, we can duplicate the layer with the green color one more time. Go to this one and adjust the color first. From adjustments, let's select Hue Saturation Brightness and increase brightness to 65%. I think it will be enough. Now let's click on the arrow and switch from warp to some other mode to be able to move it. We can just tap once or move it manually. Let me start dragging it down a little bit until we see the subtle line. I don't want to make it too thick, just 1 millimeter or so the paper is not thick. And to apply thickness to this shape, we can also duplicate it. And since the color is already very light, we can turn it into white. So let's go to this one, then activate Hue Saturation Brightness option and set brightness to maximum to make it white. After that we can also move it. It can go a little bit down and to the right, just like this. We already got 2 papers, so let's continue adding more layers, and after that draw some small cute elements. Before doing that, I think we can organize the layers a little bit. So let's select these 3 that belong to one paper at the bottom, and then click Group. We can also group these 2. It's also one paper. And then also group these 2 shapes. Now let's add a new layer and place it under all groups. Here we can draw the end of the river. And to do it faster, we can select color number 5, then activate selection, switch to rectangle in the menu, and also activate color fill. Now starting from the bottom of the canvas, let's create a rectangular shape that'll go a little bit above the center of the canvas. I think we can stop somewhere here, and it will be filled. Now let's deselect this one and create a new layer above it. This is where we will start drawing a Japanese pagoda. It will have a few shapes, and we can start from the wall. For that, let's select color number 2. We can also activate Drawing Assist to keep it symmetrical. The size is small still. And I will start drawing a horizontal line. We can actually draw anywhere and later move it. We just need to make a straight line like this. Let's tap on the canvas, and then we can adjust the length. Let's make it not very long. For example, like this. Let's now draw short vertical lines on the sides. I will also tap, and then connect these two with another horizontal line. I'm also tapping, and after that we can just fill the shape by dragging the color into it. Now let's draw another one, but make it a little bit longer. So we can start a little bit lower and also go to the side. Let's not forget to tap on the canvas. It can go this way, then up from this corner. I'm also tapping until here, and after that we just need to connect it as well. This way. Let's also fill the shape, just like this. And then we can draw some columns. Also keep them very simple, so it is easy to cut if we were working with a real paper. We just need to draw a vertical line at some distance from the corner. Let it go up like this. I will also tap, and then we can adjust the height. Let's make it like this. Now let's draw another one at some distance. Also tap on the canvas to make it go perfectly down. Now we can skip some distance for the window. Let's draw it here. And then add another line. So these distances are almost same, except the one in the center. That is bigger. Now we need to connect them all with a horizontal line. Also go a little bit outside, just like this. I'm tapping here. Now let's go a little up from the corners. We don't have to make it very high, just like this. Now let's also connect it. I'm tapping and filling it. Now we can click Continue Filling, tap here, and also between these two lines. We will get this simple shape, and I think it looks quite cute. After that, we can add the roof, but I want to do it on another layer. Let's add it above this one, and also activate Drawing Assist. I'm tapping on the layer and selecting it from the list. Here I want to use another brush to get sharp corners. Let's go to Inking and switch to Technical Pen. It will work better in this case. The roof will have two colors, but we can start with color number 16, which is lighter. We have assisted drawing, so we can start from the axis. I want to adjust the brush size to keep the line thin enough. It can be around 4%. So from here, we need to draw an arc. We can wait a second to activate Quick Shape tool, and then go to edit this arc. We can make it this way, so it goes up on the sides. And I will also stretch it a bit more. A couple more adjustments. Alright, now I think it is fine. I just want to make sure it is connected here on the line. And now from this point, let's draw a line that will go down like this. Then we can add sort of an arc here that will go to the light part. Let's click here. It turned into a line, so I will start again and make it more round. Now it looks more like an arc. We can actually continue it this way. Also adjust it a little bit. I think now it is better. And in the end we can draw a horizontal line to connect them. Let's try to fill the shape, just by dragging the color inside it. I will slide to the left to adjust color drop threshold. Maybe we can make these tips a little bit thicker. So let's do it this way. Now we can remove drawing assist. Alpha lock the layer to recolor one part into color 17. That is darker. We just need to go to selection. It is still set to rectangle. And we can outline the left side like this. Match it with the vertical axis. Voila! A part of the roof is ready. We can add a few more details. So let's create one more layer. We will add our shadows later. For now we just need to draw all the elements. So we need to activate drawing assist here as well. And go to grab some pink color, like number 18. We can match it here on the side, but it'll go until this side that is going outside a little bit. So we can add a line here, then make an arc at some distance. That'll go up. We can actually try to make it parallel. Something like this. Let's now connect these two lines by drawing this way. And at the bottom, it'll also go as another arc until the line. Let's make sure to connect them together. And we can edit the arc. I will just pull it up. Like this. I will make sure to connect them to be able to fill it. I will just start dragging the color inside. And now we can do the same what we did with the part of the roof. I'm locking the layer. Let's remove assisted drawing. And then go to select color 19, which is slightly darker. The layer is locked here. And if we select rectangular selection, we can also outline it on the left side. We will get this. We will also put a shadow here later. Now let's create a layer behind this one. Let's not forget to activate drawing assist. We can pick the color from this part. Let's just start from this point and make another arc. It'll be the part of the roof behind. So let's make an arc like this. And then another one. We can adjust it this way. If you like, you can also edit it here. Let me check if it is all connected. I think it is. So I will bring back all layers and after that fill the shape. Just by dragging the color inside it. We are getting this. I think I will go to freeform transformation and stretch it a little bit to the side, but keep it matching with the upper side of the roof. So I will push it down too, like this. It will get a little bit blurry, but it is totally fine. We just need to recolor the left side. So let's select this brown color again, alpha lock the layer. Let's try to keep assisted drawing and see how it will work. I will outline the left side of it, and it worked just fine. Now we also need to work on these corners a little bit. Let me select color number 6, which is slightly darker than the base color of the roof. Then we can create another layer above this one. And just continue these arcs. We also need to keep the symmetry. I sometimes forget it, but I hope you won't. Alright, now we can do it. It can go this way. Now let's also close the shape and then fill. Let's make it slightly darker on the left side, but this time it will be color number 20. Let's lock the layer and then outline it on the left like this, so it will look slightly different. Okay, we got these shapes, so we can actually merge these two layers now and start adding the shadows. But actually before that, we can add some more elements. Let me grab the light color. I will also go back to the layer where we have it. Then activate rectangular selection and just draw some thin horizontal lines. The first one will go this way. Draw a thin horizontal rectangle, like this. Now we can draw another one at some distance. It can be a little bit shorter too. Let's draw the last one a little lower, just like this. Now I will deselect it, grab this dark color from the roof. We can also alpha lock the layer, go back to selection, draw a small rectangle between these two. I will match it with the top side of the lower rectangle, and then also draw them on the lines for the paper. Let's do it on this one and also the last one. Now we can totally deselect. And before we start adding the shadows, let's add one more layer underneath to fill the windows. They will also have color number 2. Let's do it by drawing a rectangle, just like this. And now we don't see the difference. It will appear after we add the shadow. So let's go ahead and do it right away. For that we need to duplicate this layer, number 12, and make it dark. Let's try to recolor it all into this dark color from the roof. So I selected it. The layer is locked already. We just need to tap on it and click Fill Layer. Now I will remove Drawing Assist and also unlock the layer, so we can blur it. I will just drag this layer down, because it appeared on top somehow, and now we can do it. Let's open Adjustments and select Gaussian Blur. Start sliding to the right side until we see the shadows. It can be set to around 6%. Now let's also click on the arrow. We can first use it in freeform and just drag it to the right side. This way. Let's also move it just like this and drag it slightly down too. Now if we set the layers mode to multiply It'll get darker, and we will also see the shadow on the green part. I think we can make it even darker. So I will go to hue saturation brightness and lower the brightness just a little bit to make the shadow here on the right look more dark. This way. Now after we did this part, let's finish the roof. Let's find the layer where we have pink color on the roof. It's layer number 14. Then we can add a layer above it, clip it, and set it to soft light. Now let's select black color from the disk. I will just double tap here at the lower side. We can keep using technical pen, but also activate drawing assist to use symmetry. Let's start drawing the lines. I will just increase the size a little bit to 8% or so. Let's draw these lines, and they can change the angle while going along the arcs. As you see on the left side, they look darker. Let's just match them here in the center, and then also outline it all. For that I will make the size even bigger, like 14%. Let's draw a line here, and also at the bottom of it. I will make sure to connect it, and then do it on top. We will get this. Let's just lower the opacity. Maybe we can try to use overlay to make it a little bit darker. Like this. Now it looks better, I think. We can merge these two layers and then add a shadow under it. For that we need to duplicate it. Go to this layer underneath, remove alpha lock, so we can apply Gaussian blur later. But before that, let's make it darker. We can do it using hue saturation brightness option. Let's select it from adjustments and start lowering the brightness. We can first set it to around 35%. Let's deselect it and then activate Gaussian blur. Just start sliding to the right. We already can see this shadow. And I think we can also keep it at around 6%. Let's now go to transformation and switch to warp, so we can adjust the location. Let's push it a little bit down on this side and also move it slightly to the right. Let's drag it down here too. After we change the layers mode to multiply, it'll get even darker. And also go to this green part. Looks quite natural. Now let's repeat the same steps for the roof. Starting with layer number 13. Let's also duplicate it. Then go to the layer underneath and lower brightness. We can set it around 35%. Let's now remove alpha lock. And we can set it to multiply mode right away to see the result. We just need to apply Gaussian blur here. Let's start sliding to the right side and stop at 6% too, so it looks similar. Let's now click on the arrow and adjust it. We can push it a little bit to the right and slightly down, so it also goes on the light part and on the green shape, like this. Let's push it down here, and it is now ready. We can also deselect this part. Let's see if all shapes have shadows. We have this one for the pink layer, then also here. We forgot this one. So let me repeat the steps quickly. I will fast forward this part. Just blurring it and then moving. I think we can blur this one a bit more, so it's not so dark, because it is overlapping with the previous layer on the shape. We can even use a eraser to remove it from one of the shapes, so it is not very dark. Now I like how it looks. All shapes have shadows here. We can go ahead and group them. Let's select all layers and click Group. Now we can adjust the size, or actually keep it as it is, and adjust it later if needed, when we start drawing trees and mountains. And before we start doing that, I think we can click on the arrow. I will switch to freeform and just stretch it a little bit up. I think it'll look better this way, when it is slightly higher. Okay, now we can draw the ladder. So let's create a layer underneath. Open the color palette and pick color number 10. Since the stairs will have rectangular shapes, it is logical to use selection here too. That is set to rectangle. Let me activate it and start drawing from here. Let's draw the first rectangle, like this. Now we can skip some distance and draw another one. That'll move slightly to the right. Let's continue doing that. They can have different lengths and also different dimensions, but generally go down. We can make the stairs a bit bigger at the bottom. So I will continue drawing this way. Let's add a few more. I think it could go until somewhere here. Let's draw the last one. And now it is okay. I will deselect. Now we can add the shadow to this layer. Let's duplicate it. Then go to this one underneath. And in hue saturation brightness, lower the brightness to 32%. Now we can set the layers mode to multiply to make it even darker. And apply Gaussian blur. Let's set the amount to 7%. Now using warp, we can just drag it a little bit to the side like this. Let's also group these two layers. Then select it together with the group above and place it above the layer with green paper. Right here. Let's now add another layer between these two groups and start drawing some greens, like bushes. We will place them on the right side. Let's start with the darker color. It will be number 15. And we can use technical pen. Let's just draw a shape of a cloud to keep it simple. It can go behind the ladder and just have some curves. Go to the right. Let's also connect it at the lower side and drag the color into it. We can correct it, like some of the curves. I will make this one bigger. And now I think it is fine. Let's add a layer under it and change the color to number 4, which is lighter. We just need to draw another shape behind this one. Let's start a little higher and make various curves. it will intersect this part on the right, so we won't see it. Now we just need to close it, and after that fill. It will appear after we apply shadow. Right now we can just add another layer. Pick color number 12, which is even lighter, and just draw one more shape. It will go up. Let's also start from this side. Then go down. Also connect it at the lower side and fill. Let's now pick color number 4 again. Maybe to see it we can lower the opacity of the green paper. Like this. We will bring it back later. I will close this group for now. Then create a layer under the previous cloud, which is actually a bush, but it looks like a cloud. And this time I will start drawing approximately from here. Also go slightly up and to the right. Let's finish connecting it. And then just fill. We got the shapes. Now we can add shadows quickly. So I will bring back the opacity of this paper and start duplicating the layers. Let's duplicate the first one that has dark color. Then we need to go to this layer, set it to multiply right away, and apply Gaussian blur. Let's set it to 7%. Now we can use warp here and just drag it to the right, like this. So it is like reflected on the light part, which looks very nice. Of course we can make it slightly darker if needed, just by lowering the brightness. I will adjust it just a tiny bit to 48%. Now we can duplicate this layer one more time. That was on the front. Then go here, so we can add a paper edge. Let's increase the brightness to 65% here. Click on the transformation again, and also stretch it until we see this very thin line. It will also get slightly highlighted. This is what we will get. Now we can group it, and I will repeat exactly the same steps with all other shapes. Duplicating, setting this one to multiply. Then we can actually pick dark green color from the first shape. Drag it here. Then blur it at 7%. And then use warp to drag it. Now let's add a paper edge. So I'll duplicate it one more time. Increase brightness to 72. It will become almost white, but that's okay. We can just do it this way. Let's also group them. Go to the next one, also duplicate it. Set this one to multiply, then recolor it into dark green. Blur, can be 6 or 7%. Now we also need to move it a little bit. And add a paper edge here too. So I will just duplicate it one more time. And then increase brightness. Now we can also drag it to the side. The more you drag it, the thicker paper will look. But I want to keep it thin. Like this. I will also group this. Duplicate the last layer. changing the mode to multiply, then recoloring it, blurring, and moving like this. Let's now add the light edge. So I'll duplicate it once again, and we can actually just drag the color from here, fill it, and then move. This color will fit. Alright, this side is ready. What I want to do is add some grass between the parts. Also, let me group this. I will move this one a little bit upper here. And if there is too much space on this side, it's okay. We will place some plants here later, on the foreground. Now let's add some grass. So I will add a layer between these two groups, between the dark color and the next one. Then select color number 1 from the palette, which is very light, and using technical pen, just draw it manually. Here we can make the size at around 20% and also change the pressure. Let's start drawing grass blades. Going in different directions. This way. Then they can go to the right side. Let's add some more. Even make curves. Let me drag it a little bit upper. Then I will also adjust it by using freeform transformation. And paint it a little bit like this, just to connect the grass blades. After we did this, we can also add a shadow to it. So let's duplicate the layer, go to this one. We can also recolor it into dark green, and then blur. Since the grass blades are thinner, here we can set the amount of Gaussian blur to 4 or 5%. Then also use warp to move it a little. Just like this. This is also ready. Let me just alpha lock it and click fill layer, so it is all green. Because color fill didn't work properly. Now it is fine. I will group them. And now we can start working on the left side. Let's find our groups with the pagoda. It was this one. So we need to create a layer above it. Before drawing the bushes on this side, I think we can add a few rocks. They will have a few layers also. So we have this layer. Now let's open the color palette and pick color 21. Let's just draw a few shapes. I will start from this side. Make it oval on top. Then connect it. And fill. I think I will make it more round, this way, and then at some distance from this one, we can draw a smaller rock. Make the shape slightly different. I will make it more rounded on this side, and then go like this. We also need to fill the shape, and after that draw one more. That will intersect the ladder. So let's also make it some curve, connect it at the lower side, and then fill it too. Now let's add a layer above it, so we can put sort of highlights, using color 22, which is slightly lighter. So on top of this shape, let's draw another one, but it'll have more curves. They need to go inside the rock. And here on top, we can just match it with the edge. Let's now fill it and then do the same on the next one. I'll start from here. Also put a curve like this. Then we need to close it and drag the color. Now let's finish this one on the right. Just by adding more curves. This way. It can go up. We also need to connect it. Then drag the color. And once we did it, let's create one more layer to add a lighter color to it. It will be number 23. We just need to draw smaller shapes on top of this. They can be even more curvy, like this way. Let's also fill it. Draw on the next one. It can go differently, like this. And then the last one. I will first match it on top and then draw some more curves, this way. Now to make them look like papers, we need to add the shadows to each layer. Let's actually start with this one. I'm duplicating it, go in here, and to be able to recolor all shapes at once, we can first select the color from the layer at the bottom, then alpha lock the layer, tap on it again, and click Fill Layer. After that we need to remove alpha lock, because we will blur it later. Now let's set it to multiply mode, and go to Gaussian Blur. Let's blur it just a little bit, like 5%. We can also use warp. Just drag it slightly down on each shape, like this. Now let's repeat the same step on the next layer. It was this one, so I will also duplicate it. Go here. We can try to drag the color into each shape. Maybe it will be faster. Now let's set it to multiply and blur at the same amount. Can be 5 or 4%. Let's also drag it slightly down, this way. And finally we can do the same with the last layer. Just need to duplicate it again. We don't even have to recolor it, because it is already has the base color. We just need to set it to multiply and apply Gaussian Blur. Let's also set it to 5%. And we can drag it this way. Just a little bit. Go more to the side. Now these rocks are ready. We can add a couple more behind, exactly in the same way. For now we can just group all the layers for these rocks. And after that create a new layer underneath. Let's use the same color to draw a bigger rock between these two. It can go this way. Let's make it very big. Connect it at the lower side and then fill. We can also add a smaller one between these two. It can go like this. I will also fill it. Then we can add another layer above and apply color 22 to draw the highlights. Let's do it here. Then also on this one. Now we can add one more layer. I will grab the color right from here and add a smaller shape on top of the previous one. We can add a smaller one here. Now I will add the shadows here quickly, which you can do on your own to practice. Added the first shadow. Let's now do the same on the next layer. Don't forget to set the layer mode to multiply and the amount of Gaussian blur to 4 or 5%. Let's duplicate the last layer, changing the layers mode and blurring it. Here we can set it to 6%. And then also drag it. Alright, now we can start drawing bushes behind the rocks. Let me select all these layers and group them. After that, I will add another layer underneath, right under the group. We will use the same colors as we used on the right, so let's start with color number 4. We can lower the opacity of the green paper again, just to see what we are drawing. Let's draw a small one here, above the small rocks, and just make curves, as we did on the left side. Let's close it, and after that fill. Now we can add another layer underneath, and actually use the same color, but draw a bigger shape. We can start from this point and draw another cloud. Let's also fill it. I'll make a few more adjustments and then create one more layer. Now we can change the color into number 13 to add some variety. Let's start from the edge of the canvas, go up a little, then also close it and drag the color. Now we can add one more layer right under this one and switch to color 14. Draw another cloud shape between these two. I will start from this point and also go up. We can go more to the right side, like this way. Then I will connect it. Maybe even go more down to cover the stairs. Then add the last layer here and switch to color number 15, which is the darkest of all. We can draw another shape close to the side. Let's start somewhere here. Make a few curves, then close it and fill. Now let's add the shadows here quickly and also paper edges. Just the same way as before. Let's go back to this layer that we created first. I'll duplicate it. We already have this dark green color selected, so we can just drag the color into the shape. Now we need to blur it to 5%. Set it to multiply mode and drag it to the side like this. I think we can add the edge here right away. So let's duplicate the layer one more time. Go to the one underneath. And then we can pick the light color from this shape. Let's also fill it first. And then move it to the side using warp. This way. Let's continue doing the same steps. I will group this, or maybe we can just group them all together later. For now, I will go to layer 59, which is this shape, duplicating it. Let's pick the dark color from here, fill it. We need to go to the layer underneath. Now we can fill it, set to multiply, and then blur. As you see, we are making a lot of repeating steps. But actually, the more layers you have in the cut paper, the more volume it will get and look more cool. Let's now add a paper edge. So I'll duplicate it again, pick the light color, fill it, and move slightly to the side. Just like this. I think this is too much. Now it is fine. Let's continue. I'm duplicating the next layer. Also picking dark green. Filling it. Changing the layers mode to multiply. And blurring. Let it be 5%. Now we can also drag it to the side like this. Go slightly up. Let's duplicate it one more time. Go here. Pick the light color. Fill it. And use warp. Just a tiny bit. We have two more layers, so I will just do it quickly. Working on the last one. We don't have to recolor it, because it is already dark. Just need to set it to multiply. Then blur it. I will set it to 5% again. And also move it to the side. Now let's add a paper edge to it. This way. And now that we have all the shapes, we can add also grass here, between the bushes and the rocks. So let's grab color number 1 again. Let's also group them all. And after that, add a layer above. So it will be right under the layer with the rocks. Let's also draw a shape somewhere here in the empty place. Just a few grass blades. Let's make a long one. Then change the direction. And add a couple more. They can go to the side like this. Let's now also add a shadow to it. So I'll duplicate it, alpha lock, pick dark green, go back to the layer, and after tapping on it, select fill layer from the menu. Now we need to remove alpha lock, set the layer to multiply, and blur it at around 4% or so. Let's also move it this way, and it will be reflected on the light parts, which looks very nice, I think. This is also done. We can group these two layers too. Okay, the foreground is almost ready. I just want to fix one thing. As we can see, the basement here goes above the bushes. So we need to rearrange some of the layers. Let's find the layer with pagoda. It was this one. So let's select the group and then drag it down, like this. Now it is better. What I want to do next is fix these parts at the bottom. We can do it easily. We just need to select this color and then create a layer right above this green paper. By the way, let's bring back the opacity inside the group. Now we can add a layer above it and using rectangular selection, just create a selection like this. It will be filled because we have color fill turned on. Looks much better now. And we can start working on the background. So let's create a layer right here and select color number 15. So we can draw some greens first. And here, on the light part, we will add mountains. Let's start from the right side. First draw a horizontal line somewhere under the roof. We can tap on the screen to make it go horizontal. And on top add some curves. Let's fill the shape. And we can also draw on the left side, but on a different level. Let it go a little bit lower. So let's start with a straight line again. I will also tap on it. And then we can draw smaller curves. Go to the left. We need to connect it. And then fill. Now let's add another layer underneath. And select color number 14 to draw a couple more shapes. Let's also start from the right side. Here it can go this way, a little up. Let's also close it. And after that we can draw on the left. Let's make it a little bit different here. So it can have a peak like this. Then go to the right side. We can add some curves. So later, if it goes up, it'll look like river. Let me make a couple adjustments. I think now it looks fine. We can add another layer right under this one and pick color number 13. This time I will draw only on the right side. Let's make it a little bit longer here with a horizontal line and then a few curves. Let me make sure to connect them. And then we can drag the color. Let's now add another layer. And here use color number 12, which is very light. Here we can make it curvy at the edge. And then go up. I'm also connecting this one and filling it. On the left it can go even higher and have a peak. So it'll look like a rocky mountain. Let's go a little more to the right. Then close it. And also fill. Before we start drawing the mountains, I think we can add the shadows here quickly, on each layer. Let's start with the one on the front. I am duplicating it, going here, changing the layers mode to multiply. Now we can select dark green Actually, it is already selected, so we don't have to do it. We just need to blur it. Let's set it to 6%. And now we can apply it to both shapes at once. Just like this. Stretch it a little bit up and to the right. Let's also add a paper edge. For that we need to duplicate it once again, if you remember. Go here. Now we can pick the color right from here. Fill both shapes. And also use warp to drag it slightly. Like this. This layer is ready. We can start working on the next one. So let's duplicate layer 79, where we have two more shapes. Then select this dark green and apply it on the layer underneath. We can fill the shapes one by one. This one and also this on the left. Now let's change the layers mode to multiply and then blur it. I will set it to 6% and use warp tool exactly same as before. Let's duplicate it one more time. Go to this one. We can pick light color and also drag it into the shapes. Then use warp again. Nothing new. This is also ready. Let's go to layer 80 and just do the same. I'll blur it, then transform, and at the end add a paper edge. Let's make it thin like this. We have the last layer. It's this one. So I will also duplicate it. Go here. Set it to multiply mode right away. And then recolor it into dark green. Both shapes. Let's now apply Gaussian blur. Here we can set it to 7%. And make it go like this. To the side. Let's duplicate it once again. And since this color is already very light, we can just turn it into white. For the edge, we need to set brightness to 100%. Let's also move it. And these layers are also ready. I just want to check one thing. If we go to Actions, Canvas, and open Canvas information, then go to Layers, we can see how many layers we have used and how many layers are available. I can see that I have enough layers to finish this illustration, but if you feel that you are running out of layers, I can show you one trick. So this is what you can do. Let's find a group where we have many layers. Actually, we can group all this first. Then we have some groups for these bushes. We can also select them all and then group. Now let's do this. Let's tap and hold on this group to keep it on the canvas, and then also remove the background color. Now let's open Actions, go to Add section, tap Copy Canvas, and then paste. All these layers from the group will appear on one layer. That's called inserted image. Let's tap and hold on it again. Then bring back the background color. And tap on the group to remove it. As you can see, there is no change. But if we just flatten the group, it would look like this, which didn't work. So we can just keep this inserted image and delete the group. Now continue working. I won't do it with all other layers, because I have enough of them, but you can definitely do it if you like. Alright, now let's finish the mountains. They will go up to the sky. They will also have a few layers that we can place under this group that we had for the green shapes. Let's add the first layer and select color number 11 from the palette. We can draw two shapes on the sides. I want to start from the right side. So let's draw a curve at the bottom. That will go to the left, then up. It can have a few shapes like this, and then go above the green part. We can also add a few peaks for the mountains. Let's just close the shape, fill it, and after that it can be adjusted. I think now it looks quite nice. Let's draw something on the left side too. I will start from here, make it go even higher, also add a few curves like this. That will go down then. Now it can go to the left and slightly down, but then we need to close it and fill. I think we can make this part a bit more curvy, just like this. Let's now add another layer underneath to draw another mountain shape. This time we can use color number 10. Let's make them bigger, and they can start from the side of the green paper. Somewhere here. We can make smaller curves here, then also go down to this side, then maybe up again. The last shape. Now let's close it. We can do it on the narrowest part, and after that fill it. I just want to adjust this part a little bit, and to be more accurate, let's use liquify tool in push. I'll just push this small shape a little bit down to match it with the green part. So we created the horizon line, like the river is disappearing. We can also adjust this shape a little bit more. Now I think it looks perfect. Let's deselect it and go to create another layer under the brown mountains. We can use color number 2 to get the lightest shape here. I hope you can see it, because it is very light. So let me start from here. Also go up to this one, then down. Let's add another curve in the middle. Go to the side, and it can go up again between these peaks. And I will finish it on the right. Now let's just connect them and fill the color. After that, the shapes can be adjusted, if you like this. I think I like how they look. So here we can also add shadows and paper edges. Exactly same way. Let me start with the first layer. I'll duplicate it, go here, and then apply Hue Saturation Brightness option. We can lower the brightness to 39 or 38%. Let's now set it to multiply mode and apply Gaussian blur at 6%. Let's also switch to warp in transformation and drag it to the right like this. Also go a little bit up. I think we can desaturate this one a little bit to make it look more natural. And I will increase brightness. Like this. Now I like how it looks. Maybe we can just move it a little bit here. But we can switch to advanced mesh. Like this. Let's now add an edge. So I will duplicate the initial layer one more time. Go to this one. And here we need to increase brightness to make it lighter. Let's try to set it to 65% and see how it will work. Let's now also apply warp tool to add this edge on the mountains. I don't want to make it too big. This is okay. Now I will do the same on all other mountains. Let's make this one darker. I will set brightness to 40%, or maybe it can be darker because the initial color is rather light. Let's try 38 or 39%. Let's also not forget to set the layers mode to multiply. And then blur it. Let's set it to 7%. And also move it like this. So it is reflected. Let's now add more thickness to the paper. So I'll duplicate it one more time. Go here and set brightness to 65%. Now let's also move it just a tiny bit, so it is slightly seen. We can drag it up a little and to the side, just like this. Let's finish the last layer. It was this one with the lightest color. I'm also duplicating it. Let's set it to multiply mode right away. And then set brightness to 37 or 36%. Now we also need to apply Gaussian blur on it at around 7 or 8% even, to create the biggest reflection, like this. I think it looks pretty cool. So let's add a paper edge. I'll duplicate the initial layer, go underneath, and set brightness to 65% again. Or 66, it doesn't really matter. Not a big deal. We can just move it this way. To do it, you can also use push mode. It'll work similar. Let's make it not very thick. Now I like how it turned out. And this part is also ready. Actually, I think we can remove this grid. We don't need it. I'll go to Canvas in Actions and disable Drawing Guide. Now it looks clean. Alright, it is almost ready. Let's add the sun here, because we have a lot of empty space. Like it is a spring sunny day. Let's also group all these layers. And then create another layer below. We can pick color number 9 and just draw a circle. That doesn't have to be perfect. Let's also make it small. I will fill it and then adjust. So it doesn't look like a perfect circle, but still more like a circle. Like this. I think it is not centered, so I'll move it. Let's duplicate the layer. Go down. After that, select color 25. And we can just drag it here. Now let's blur it just a tiny bit. With Gaussian blur. We can set it to around 2 or 3%. And then using the warp tool, drag it to the side like this. We can lower the opacity here, because it is too dark. Around 76% is fine. Now let's go back to the layer with the yellow color, create another one above it, then add a clipping mask, and set this layer's mode to multiply. Let's grab the yellow color again, and from airbrushing, pick soft brush. Then with the size set to around 5%, we can apply it slightly on this edge to make it look even more like paper. This way. In the end, we will get something like this. Let's adjust the opacity. Just lower it a little. I've set it to 94%, and now it is ready. Before we add final elements on the side that will go outside, I think I will move this part a little. So let me group these 3 layers, and then I will find the layer with the rocks. Let me actually select this group for the bushes, then also this plant and the rocks. Also this one. I will drag it slightly upper and distort it a little, so it goes more straight. I want the design to look perfect. So let me scale it a bit more. And now it is fine. I will deselect it and go to create a new layer. We need to place it above all layers, even above this frame. Then open the color palette and pick color number 6. We need to go back to our brush set for the paper cut design and use these branch stamps. They are actually very easy to make as they have simple shapes, but I wanted to save us some time. Let's pick the first one that we will place on the front. It will be branch number 1. For this one, we can set the size to 12%. And then just tap on the canvas, somewhere here on the side. Let's now move it and match it with the side of the frame. Let's place it like this. Now we can add a layer underneath and select branch number 2. Here the size needs to be set to 14%. And then we also need to tap on it. Let's drag it to the side. And make it go like this. Alright, I think it is fine. We need to add another layer below this one. Switch to branch number 3 and set the size to 27%. Let's also tap on the canvas and adjust the location. Here it can go like this. I think I will move it a little bit upper, this way. Let me just tap once. And then add the last layer, right here. Let's also pick the last stem and set the size to 14%. Let's tap again. It has a few leaves, so it'll go up like this. Now it looks like a tree. All we need to do is add shadows for each branch and also paper edge. Let's start with the first one that we created. Here we need to duplicate the layer, just as always. Then go here, set it to multiply mode. Then using hue saturation brightness, lower the brightness to 39%. Now let's blur it to around 8%. Then switch to Warp in Transformation menu and drag it like this. A little bit to the side. Also we need to remove it from the frame. So I will push it more. Actually you can definitely use a razor, like it is going from the inside. Let me do it quickly. Alright. Let's continue. Duplicate the layer one more time, and on this one we need to increase brightness to 65%. These numbers are approximate. I figured them by experimenting, but I think they work. Let's also drag it a little bit to add this paper on the side. And now we need to repeat same steps on all other branches. Let me do it on this one quickly. And I will be using the same values, both for hue saturation brightness and also Gaussian blur. Let's just continue dragging them. It can go down like this. I will also remove it from the frame. And here I think I will lower the opacity to 74%. Let's now add the paper edge. I duplicated it once again, and to this one I will increase brightness to 65%. Then also drag it a little bit to the side. But not too much. Let's go to the next one. I'll do the same here, changing it to multiply, then lowering brightness to 39% and blurring it. Let's also set it to 8%, then move it. It'll go down here. Now let's also add the light edge. Setting brightness to 65% here. And then I will also move it with warp. Here we have the last one. So let's also do it. Now I will blur it and then drag it down. So it will be reflected on the light part. Just like this. Let's also lower the opacity on this one. After that, I'm duplicating the first layer one more time. And here increasing brightness to 65%. Let me also move it. On all parts. And it is done too. We just need to remove the shadows. I think it was this one. Alright. But here on the leaves, we can definitely keep it. Now let's group all these layers. And then duplicate the group. Let's select the group at the bottom. Here I will switch to uniform and drag it down. Also, we need to move the group in the layers to place it behind the frame and also behind the light paper. Right here. Let's now move it. I will also make it smaller like this. Rotate a little. And we can also use distort to change the shape. Actually, warp tool would work here too. Let's keep it this way. And after that, change the colors of some branches. I think I will change this one. It's the biggest branch. So let's select color number 10. Go to the layer, alpha lock it, then tap on it again and click fill layer. It will change the color. Also, I want to change the small one here at the bottom. It is this branch. We already have the color selected, so we just need to alpha lock it and then fill layer. I think we can add a few more branches here on the right. So let's actually duplicate this group now. We can pick any of them, open transformation, and first flip it horizontal. It will go here. We can also scale it. I'll move it more to the side. And also rotate. I'll keep it like this. We can keep the same colors, but we need to move the shadows. So let's select the layers with dark colors here, this, also this one, and the last one. And we can do it using warp. Just drag it to the opposite side. So the shadows go in the same direction. Like this. I think we can adjust the shadows a little bit here. For example, I go to this one. And we can lower the saturation, so it is not so brown. Maybe we can tweak the brightness too. This way. And now it looks better. I will keep the rest. Alright, we have some more empty space here on top. So to keep the drawing symmetrical, we can add sakura flowers here to make it also look cute and beautiful. Let's select color number 7 to draw the flowers. I will close the group. And then create another layer above all layers. We will draw them manually. For drawing we can use technical pen from Inking. Let's set the size to 15%. and draw like 5 petals. It also looks like a cloud a little. Let's now fill it. I will make a couple adjustments. And after that, we can select eraser. Also set it to technical pen. Let's adjust the size. Set it to like 13%. And erase a few details inside. That will go towards the center. We can make these lines curvy. And also different thickness. For that we just need to adjust the pressure on the pencil. Let's also erase the distance between the petals. Like this. Let's do it with this one. Then also here. Add a couple more lines. And we will get a flower like this. We can adjust the location. I will drag it slightly upper and put it on this border of the green paper. Now we can duplicate the flower. Drag it slightly down. Then scale it and rotate to make it look slightly different. Let's put this one here, close to the frame. Now let's duplicate the big one more time. Also move it down. Make it even smaller. And also rotate it in the opposite direction. So it will also look slightly different. Here we can also use distortion or warp to change the shape. After that, I will duplicate the layer one more time, the big one, drag it to this side. We can flip this one horizontal and put it very close, like this. Let's now duplicate this one more time, and after that we can merge 4 layers that are located above. Now let's select this one and also adjust its location. We can put it this way. I will also flip it both vertical and horizontal. Maybe make it bigger like this. So it will be slightly behind this flower that is small. Let's now duplicate it again. This one will go more down. Let's also scale it and put it like this. Now we can duplicate this layer one more time. Select one of the flowers. Make it go down. Then also scale it. And I will rotate it a little bit. This one we can put like this. So we have 3 more flowers on another layer. And I think we can add one more. So let's duplicate the initial layer one more time. And see where we can place it. I think I will make it rather small and put it behind this big flower on the first layer. Let's also rotate it slightly. Now we can merge 3 layers. Just keep one flower so we can duplicate it. Then we can merge these 2. Let's scale it Then drag it down. Also rotate it slightly. Put it on the side from the big flower. Then duplicate it one more time and drag it to the right side, maybe a little up. I will also flip it horizontal to make it look a little bit different. So let's place it this way. Then we can duplicate one of the layers and drag it up. Of course, you can create your own composition of flowers. It's just my suggestion. I will let it stay here. So now we can also merge these three layers. Then create a layer underneath to draw a stem. It will have color number 21. Let's keep using technical pen and just connect some of the flowers. We also need to adjust the size of the brush. It can be set around 22%. And first we can connect these two big flowers with a line. Let's also make a line that will go outside a little, starting from here, and just make it as a curve. Now let's add another one somewhere here, and two more going down, so we can connect all flowers together. Let me also draw another short one here, and then from this one we can draw an arc. It'll just go down like this. Maybe it is too thick. Let me make it thinner. And then we can draw another one that'll intersect these two flowers and then go more down. Here on the tips we can add a few more flowers that are not fully open. So let's add a layer above this one. Then select pink color again and draw some petals. So let me add one here. It can look like this. Now we can draw another one on this tip. And another one here. Let me draw one more on this stem. We can make it small. And then I will just draw a shape of a water droplet somewhere here. Now we can create another layer and draw a couple more petals. For example, we can make one here, then another one on this side, then this way. Here it will go to the right. We can make different shapes. Now we can add the last layer to finish the petals. So let me draw one more going to this side. Then I will add one between these two. Also somewhere here. And one more that will go like this. Here we can also draw between. Just make some different shape. Alright. Now that we have all the shapes created, we just need to add shadows to them. I will start with the layer with the flowers that is on top. So I'm duplicating it. Now we can go here, set it to multiply, of course. After that we can lower the brightness, let's say to 39% or 38%, and also lower saturation to 33%. Let's now try to apply Gaussian blur on it, to see how it will look. Let's set it to 6%. Then go to transformation, switch to warp. and drag it down, like this. Not so much. Now I will duplicate it one more time. And on this one, just increase brightness to 65%. Let's also add this paper thickness by dragging it down. We need to apply it on all flowers, one by one. And now that's okay. I will repeat exactly same step on all other layers. Setting brightness to 39 or 38, saturation to 34, then blurring it to 6% and moving down and a bit to the right. Let's also do it on all shapes. Let's now add paper look. Also on all flowers. Then we have this one that we can work on. Don't forget to set the layer to multiply. Then change the colors with brightness and saturation. Now we can blur it to 6% and also move the shadows so they are reflected on the papers that are underneath. Now I will do this. Again, these are repeating steps, so you can actually pause and do it on your own. Now the flowers are ready. Let me group them so we don't get confused. And I will continue working on these petals. Just do exactly the same thing. We can just make Gaussian blur a little bit smaller because these shapes are small. I've set it to 5%. Now we can also drag it this way. Then add in a paper look by increasing brightness. And we can move it as well. Just a tiny bit. I don't want this paper to look very thick. This is enough. Let's go to the next layer. I will repeat it. Let's also set Gaussian blur to 4%. Also drag it. Just like this. Now I will add the paper. Here. And then the last layer. I will apply the same values as on all other elements. Then blur it at 4%. And of course drag it like this. So they all go in the same direction. The last step. it's where we add the paper thickness. Here it is fine. Let me drag this one. And now it is ready. We just need to work on the stem. Let me also duplicate it. Then I'll go here, set it to multiply, then also make it dark. Let's try 38%. Now we can also blur it. Let's set it to 5% and drag it down like this. I think it is too dark, so we can fix it by lowering the opacity of the layer. I've set it to 72%. And it looks quite nice. Now that we have all the shapes ready, let's finish the shadows under the frame, so it'll pop up from the background. For that we need to find the group with this light paper, go inside it, tap on the paper and create a layer above it. Let's also clip it so it doesn't go inside the composition, but it will be applied only to the paper. Now let's grab color number 16 and soft brush from airbrushing. Let's increase the size and start applying carefully around our shape. Keep it soft, like this. I will lower the size a little. Continue going down this way. Also go at the bottom, like this. Now we can switch to color number 17, lower the size, and apply it right at the bottom, but make it thinner. Just like this. It can go more down, this way, and as you can see, it goes up from the paper. We can also put it a little bit on the side. Now let's add another layer on top of this one, clip it, set it to soft light, and select color number 1 from the palette. Let's apply it on this side, just a little, and very close to the frame, so it'll get some glow around it. Now let's add one more layer, then also clip it, set it to soft light, and pick very dark color number 26. This time we will apply it in the opposite corner. So let's make the size a little bit bigger and start drawing like this, close to the edge. Let's make vertical strokes, this way. We can press more close to the side and make it softer while going to the right. After that I will add one more layer, but under this one. This time we can set it to add mode, but keep using the same color. Let's see how it will work. Let's continue making strokes. This way. Let's just go to hue saturation brightness and start increasing the brightness carefully. We can also add some saturation to it, like this. After we did this, we can also find the layer with the frame go here, alpha lock it, and remove Drawing Assist to remove symmetry. Now let's switch to color number 1 and apply just a little bit on this side to make it look highlighted. Our design is ready now. All we need to do is add paper overlay. It'll also have a couple layers. So let's create the first one on top of our layers and set it to color burn. Let's select color number 8 and from our brush set, select real paper number 3. We just need to apply it all over the canvas. And it'll get this paper look. Now I want to add the last layer. Set this one to soft light. Then switch to white color and apply craft paper. We just need to apply it all over the canvas too. It'll add these nice soft white particles. And it really looks like paper. So after this final step, our Japanese landscape paper cut design is complete. If you enjoyed following this tutorial, I will appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Procreate related content. If you share a version on Instagram, please don't forget to tag me at TatyWorks so I can see it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.